Okay, so let's do this. We talked about refinancing last week, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it right now because it's all over the news. As you can see, I'm sure everybody that's been paying attention to anything going on lately has seen that the rates have fallen quite a bit over the last couple weeks. They're still really low. They actually took a pretty hard dip the other day and then came back up a little bit yesterday. But the overall anticipation is that rates are going to continue to stay low through the summer and on into the winter. And as a matter of fact, so I posted something on Facebook about this the other day, but the Fed, who is kind of the establishing base rate for any kind of lending, because and by the way, they're not associated with the federal government, even though they're called the Fed. Little word play there, but so they established the rate. Well, they came out and they said that they were not going to lower rates this month. Okay, but what they did, which has triggered most of this, is they also said they usually say we're being patient with the economy. We're going to be patient. We're going to let this play out before we make any decisions. So when they issued their statement this time, they took the word patient out. And there is some concern about where the economy's headed. It seems like everything's running pretty smoothly, but for the most part, there's a few indicators that are pointing towards maybe things are going to slow down a little bit. And one of the Fed's tools to make sure that they keep the economy stimulated is by lowering interest rates, because that gives easier access to money, which generates people spending money, buying things, taking out debt. So this is something that they feel will generate commerce in the economy to kind of boost things up. So this is one of the tools and mechanisms they use. They haven't lowered interest rates since, I want to say it was like 2010 or 11. It's been a long time since they've gone the other direction. It might have been 2008, but they are, the anticipation is that they are going to lower rates next month. Okay, so when they come out and do their meeting in July, the anticipation is the rate is going to go down, and they even said they may lower it a couple more times this year. So what that means, good news for us lenders out there, but also good news for you consumers, because the last couple of years we've had higher rates, anywhere between 4.5% to 5.5%, even 6%, depending on credit and loan type and all that kind of stuff. So when the rates fall, that creates opportunity, right, Glenda?
Right, absolutely.
Opportunity to save you some money. So does it make sense for you to refinance? All right, so we're going to go through this just really quick, just to kind of give you a few key points to let you know if it's something that you should consider. So there's two main types of refinance. You do cash outs, where you take equity out of your property and get cash to do with whatever you choose, and then there's a rate and term refinance. So let's talk about cash outs first. Why does it make sense to do a cash out? Well, let's say, and rate doesn't really play as much of a role on this decision as it does on the next one, but let's start with this first. So if you have a higher rate, it's even greater. But let's say that your rate's 4.5%, 5%, whatever, and you're going to get lower rate right now if you do a cash out refinance. You can use that cash to pay off high interest debt. So if you have credit card debt, car debt that you're paying 6, 8, 20% interest on, and you want to cut that out, then this is a great way to do that. When you're borrowing money at 4 to 4.5 or even into 3s, cash outs are going to be a little tougher to get in 3s right now, but we may get there later on. But this is a great opportunity to pay off that debt. Well, a lot of people will say, well, if I'm paying off my credit card debt and I've got $20,000 in credit card debt and I'm putting it into my house, well, now I'm financing that credit card debt for 20 years, or 30 years, or whatever. And so you can look at that and go, well, that's true to some extent. But that's not really the way you should look at it, because my first question to anybody that would ask that is, how long have you had $20,000 worth of credit card debt? And my guess is that most people would answer that question 5 to 10 years or whatever it is, because most people's credit card debt kind of stays consistent, right? Very few people actually get to the point where they can pay it down even more. Now, if you just had that debt for 6 months and you pay it off every time, okay, maybe that doesn't make sense. But if you've got a lot of credit card debt or high interest debt, what you're doing is you're freeing up cash flow. Okay? You're opening up your ability to pay off other things because you're not supporting this other debt. And the great thing about doing a cash out refinance is that if you have 3 or 4 credit cards that you're paying $150 to $200 a month on just to keep the interest down, right? And then you take that and you roll that into the mortgage, well, now you're paying 4% interest on that debt. Your payment's only maybe $100, $50, $75 more a month. And now you've got $300 to $400 a month that you've cleared up to be able to pay down that debt that you acquired. So it opens up your monthly flow to be able to pay off other debt. Okay, that's the idea behind it. That anybody watches the Dave Ramsey stuff, it's like a snowball thing, right? You pay off the debt, on the lower level so you free up more cash so you can continue to pay debt. Now, you got to be disciplined about it, but that's the way to go about it. You can also make improvements to your home, right? You can add pools, you can add bedrooms, you can update your kitchen. You can do all these things to add value to your house so that you hold a greater equity position when you want to sell it down the road. And since we're coming into summertime and moving towards kids getting ready they just graduated, they're enjoying their last summer. Well, now we got college, and we all know college is expensive. So if you're going to send your kid to college, you're going to need some dough. And it's a great way to get it without having to take out those student loans that are going to last you for your entire life and never go away. So you can do the cash out refinance. That's one option for you. Second thing is the rate and term. So with the rate and term, it's really simple. All you're doing is either changing the term of the loan, 30-year, 15-year, 20, whatever it is, or you're changing the rate. That's why it's called rate and term. So how does this make sense, all right? Well, here's what I'll tell you. At least right now, and this is going to be dated or whatever. Let's say that your interest rate is about 4.5%. Okay, that's what I would say is a benchmark to say, okay, do I need to check this out? Anything over 4.5, you're probably going to need to look at this. And if you've got a large loan, so let's say you have a $300,000 or $400,000 loan and your rate 4.25 or 4.375, it might make sense then, because the way we determine whether or not you should or shouldn't refinance. Okay, and by the way, Linda, as you know, when you call a lender or the lenders are calling you, it sounds great. Everybody sells it like, oh, this is going to be awesome. You should definitely refinance. Should you always refinance? Does it always make sense to do that?
No, it doesn't. And you always need to check on options, because what they don't tell you is it always costs something. Nothing's ever free. And that's the biggest question that we've had lately from a lot of consumers is, oh, hey, I got this offer in the mail, but it says it's going to cost $0. Like, there's nothing that ever costs zero amount of money. So again, do your research and figure out if it's going to be effective and efficient for you and your family to save that extra money per month.
Right. So what we try to do is we look at the situation and go, okay, how much money are you going to save for doing this, right? And the savings comes in your monthly interest. And I don't talk about long-term interest when I have people purchase a house, nor do I talk about it when they're buying a house. I'm not going to tell them, oh, you're going to save $100 a month over 30 years and it's going to save you all this money. Look, the reality is you're going to be in and out of that loan or in and out of that house in somewhere in a 5 to 10 year window, okay? So that's how you have to evaluate this stuff. So what we do is we go, okay, let's say it's going to save you $100 a month. How much is it going to cost you? It's going to cost you $4,500. These are just numbers we're throwing out. Our cost is always different. It depends on taxes, insurance, appraisals, all this kind of stuff. But this is just an example. So you're saving $100 and it's costing you $4,500 rolled into your loan for the most part. You usually don't have to come out of pocket for this. It's not like you're having to bring money, but it is added onto your loan. So it's eating up a little bit of the equity that you have. So it costs you $4,500. It saves you $100. So the way we evaluate does it make sense is what I've done down here. That means it's going to take you 45 months to break even. So 45 months is saving $100 a month before that $4,500 that you spend up front makes sense, right? So if you feel confident that you're in your house for the next 5 years at least, then this makes sense. If you feel like that you could sell in the next 1 to 2 years because you've got a job change coming up or you're changing schools, your kids are moving out, then it's not really going to make sense for you to do it because you're not going to recoup the benefits in the amount of time necessary. And for the most part, as a general rule of thumb, is that if you're going to save money in if you're going to break even, I should say, within a 3 year window, less than 3 years, for the most part, it's kind of a no-brainer, unless you know that you're moving. If, however, it's going to take 3 to 5 years, then generally what we say is it's kind of up to you. It's what do you think your situation is going to be, because nobody can predict what's going to happen. Like, life happens, just the way it goes. Anything more than 5 years to break even, I would caution against doing it, because if you're saving $50 a month, it sounds great, $50 a month, but it's costing you $4,000 or $5,000 to do it. It's going to take you 7 years to break even. It just doesn't make sense. Because you just don't know what's going to happen in that amount of time on whether or not it's something that you should do or not, right, G?
Absolutely. And I'm here, but I don't know where my video feed went because I can't see anything on this side. So
right. You're just frozen in time. It's okay. I figured it out. Yeah, you're not moving around, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm here, but it's black on my side, so I'm here chilling.
All right. It's like you're it's like remote. You're in the you're in the battlefield, reporting from the front lines. So the video feed's a little rough.
There you go.
The good news is on all of this, okay, is that information is free. And what I mean by that is if you pick up the phone and you call Glenda and I and you want to know, does it make sense for me to refinance? First thing we're going to do is we're going to talk you through it. We're not going to say, okay, well, let's pull your credit and look at it. No, let's talk about it. What's your interest rate? What are you trying to accomplish? How much is your payment? What's it roughly going to cost? Does it make sense, right? We're going to have that conversation first. Then we're going to go, okay, if it looks like this may make sense, then we'll go through the full application process and see if we got our payoff for our debt and get some real solid numbers. And even that doesn't cost anything. All we're doing is checking on it to see if it makes sense. And that's it. So when we evaluate this, you call us, we go through the situation and see if you can do it or see if it doesn't make sense. And the truth is that we get a lot of people that call us on this with a lot of questions, and it's about 50-50. Half the time it makes sense for people and half the time it doesn't. And we will tell you if it doesn't make sense. We're not going to push you into a loan that isn't going to be beneficial for you because that leaves a bad taste in your mouth from us. And then we can't get all those wonderful referrals that we love because you do a great job. So we're going to do what's in your best interest and make sure we explain it to you so you understand why it's good for you or why it's not. And that way you're clear on what you should or shouldn't do. Right, G? Frozen G?
Absolutely. Frozen G. I guess I'm still frozen, so but I'm here. I'm here helping everybody out.
So if you want to find out if you could qualify or if a refinance would be in your best interest, you can text Own My Home to 474747, and Glenda and I would be happy to help you. And Mr. Andre Agassi, follow his advice that says, don't mull it over, refinance with the Milton. That's what you got to do, right?
That's right. Don't mull it over. Just give us a call. Nights, weekends, we make it possible. Home ownership's possible with us.
Are you seeing the